update had it at 2 o'clock. I'm sorry.
Oh, here he comes.
Okay, here we go.
He's coming.
Are we good? I'm gonna hear myself an echo. I'm gonna close the door.
Wait a minute. Buzz, Mark.
Oh, Bud's coming.
Buzz.
Buzz, sorry. Buzz, we're gonna wait for you. That's okay, no pressure. He's sprinting now. Look at him sprint.
He went to therapy this morning.
Carl Lewis, forget him. Who's that, Carl Lewis? We don't remember him. No, we have Buzz now. He's our sprinter. Welcome. Good to see you.
Welcome to you.
All right. Thank you. Come on. Au revoir. Are you coming in? Okay. Lori saved a seat for you. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. How is everyone? Awesome. Okay. Is this okay? Does this sound okay? Sounds a little echoey. It's loud enough? Okay, good. Well, welcome to the town hall. I think we're recording. Bailey, we're good. We're good to go. I would like to, so thank you for coming here today. For those of you that are a little bit old hat at this, that have seen me do this, but I know there's some new faces here that I have not seen. So for those individuals that are new, this is a monthly meeting that we really work diligently at holding all the time. Okay, so we try to not skip. It happens on occasion sometimes if we do have to skip, but I think in the 4 years that I've been here, and it will be 4 years, in another month it'll be 4 years that I'm working here in the community. We might have missed maybe a couple, one or two. Yeah, Christy's holding up her one finger. So we really try to host this meeting. I'm gonna go through a presentation that's pretty standard, and then there'll be a question and answer period at the end where I'll do my best to answer all the questions. If for some reason we do not have an answer, we'll find you the answer, and then we'll get back to you. We'll let you know what that answer is. It does get rebroadcast, so we are actually recording this, so at a later date for several weeks, actually, I think moving forward it's every Wednesday and Friday. Bailey will give you the schedule, the times that it runs, but it plays on the in-house TV channel on 9005. So that's another way that you can follow along. Before we start the meeting, I do want to do one introduction. We have a new team member who actually just started with us a couple weeks ago, actually 2 weeks ago. I think this is week 3. So Brian, do you want to stand up? Maybe just come in front so everybody can see you. Brian Ozuna has started with us a few weeks ago. He's our human resources specialist. We had a lady in that role who's no longer with us. Brian became on board a few weeks ago. If you have not had a chance to meet him, this is him. Brian is a great addition to this team. And the residents, you probably will not interface with Brian on a regular basis because his title really says what he does. He is really the resource person relative to the staff. Okay, so his main function here is to interface with our staff. He works on recruitment, retention, the payroll, any of the benefit plans, what's he I take back what I said. I'm teasing you. So he does all of those things which are crucial to your experiences here as residents, okay? So you will not see him necessarily front and center, albeit he obviously might be front and center with his hand gestures, but I want you to put a name to the face and know his office is right next to Tammy's office. If you'd love to go meet with him, I'm sure he'd appreciate that. And I think Mary's doing a really cool article on him, right?
It will be once.
Okay, good.
It's brilliant.
All right. Oh, there you go. So, well,
Fancy shirt.
I gotta get him a fancy shirt? All right, I'm gonna get him a fancy shirt. Welcome.
Thank you.
Nice to have you. All right, good. Awesome. Okay. Fancy shirt. I gotta get another one of these fancy shirts. This could be a uniform shirt. Lori, what do you think? I'd wear one. All right. We all know by now that we have a resident council that meets on a monthly basis, that goes through a bunch of different items each month, that meets with me. This is a recap. The first part of the agenda is a recap of some of those discussions. So that will be the first part of our agenda. I am going to talk about capital projects for 2024. I did not actually share this list with the resident council yet because I didn't receive any final confirmation, but I am going to share that list today with the residents here in Town Hall. One of the requests that we received, I think it was last month, was, hey, we'd like to hear, what's going on. We'd also like to know what some of the future thoughts are. So we, myself, and the directors here at the community obviously meet on a daily basis, but we also talk about what are some of the projects that we would like to achieve down the road. So I'm going to show you, after the capital projects for 2024, I'm going to talk about projects for 2024 future, a little bit down the road this year, and then I'm going to throw some projects out there that we're talking about. But I want to preface that by saying it's not 100% in stone, okay? So I'm kind of going out a little bit on a limb here, sharing some information maybe that I should not, but I think to be in full transparency, it's nice for you to know, hey, what are they thinking about, right? What are you thinking about maybe improving? What are you thinking about doing here at the community? So I'm going to share that. I'll talk a little bit about some department updates, but most of it will be focused on the projects. And then we'll do a question and answer period at the end, okay? All right, here we go. So this is a resident council. We've talked a lot about this. This is gonna happen soon. The date, actually, I received the date the other day. We're gonna start tree trimming on May 13th, which is the date I'm being told right now, which is not next Monday, but the following Monday, okay? There was a lot of conversation about rodents related to trees close to buildings. That is an access point, right? So for everybody to understand, one of the reasons why we trim trees is to get those branches away from the building. So this has been a little bit of a challenge. We continue to work where we need to on traps for rodents. We're continuing to do that, but the tree trimming is something that's really gonna help. The other piece I'll share with you is the rodents do also need to get in the building, right? So it's one thing getting on the building, getting in the building is the other piece. So we're also identifying some areas that we might need to button up some areas. We know that we have woodpeckers. Has anybody ever heard the woodpeckers? We actually did eliminate all woodpeckers for those of you that have been here for a few years. I think it was about 2+ years ago. We went in, we did a bunch of different things and we got rid of them, but some of them, they love Aston Gardens so much they've come back. We love to have those woodpeckers. So more to come on that. We're gonna block up some areas, and there's certain things, believe it or not, that you can do and cannot do related to woodpeckers, because they are a species that's protected. Somebody just said to me, get a BB gun. No, you can't do a BB gun, can't do that. So this will start on the 13th. By late June, we should be completed all of the tree trimming. It'll include palm trees, all palm trees, and we did some hardwood trees last year, but we're gonna complete all the hardwood trees this year also. There's some sidewalk areas that we're gonna need to be leveled. Primarily, we've been looking in front of the villas here. There's an area or actually a couple areas that are a little bit dangerous, so we're gonna be addressing those areas very shortly. This request came through, how we're gonna function. So the umbrellas that we have for shade on the patio area where the pool is are very cumbersome and difficult to manipulate. They're heavy. So if you do have a request to open one of those, please just direct that request to the front desk. They're gonna get one of our team members to go and open up the umbrella, okay? And they'll manage it from there. We got some feedback that it's too cold in the dining room. Who finds it too cold in the dining room? All right. So what we found was, because we do control the AC through a computer and we manage the temperature. And there is some variability with the thermostats. We've asked all of our staff to not touch the thermostats. We've reset the temperature controls for the dining room. And if no one goes in and adjusts it, it will be the proper temperature. What we found was we were setting the temperature and then somebody maybe would say, well, it's a little too warm in my area. The staff, just trying to help, will go to the thermostat and lower the temperature, okay? We do have some settings where they can only lower it a certain amount or raise it a certain amount, which we've put in place, but still, we're asking our team not to adjust the temperature controls. If there is an issue, please direct it to one of our team or the front desk, and we'll look at our computer system to see what's wrong. But we have reset everything, so you should see it being a little more better temperature in the dining room.
If it's 90 now, I'll be happy.
If it's 90.
If it's 90, I'll be happy.
We did not set it at 90. We've gotten a lot of feedback related to dress code. We did not put it in last week's update, but this week's update, Christy, we're gonna re-put the dress code in. We're asking residents when you bring guests, just to make sure that you're aware of the dress code and that your guests are adhering to what the dress code is. There is one minor adjustment that was agreed upon through the resident council, and so you know the resident council does determine what the dress code is, so it's the council that determines that. They made this exception last year. They're gonna do it again this year, starting tomorrow, which is May 1st, through the end of October. Shorts will be allowed in the dining room after 4 p.m. And it's through the warmer months of the year, they feel that it's reasonable to allow shorts in the dining room. Not shorts to here, but proper length shorts in the dining room. Lee raised his hand. You have shorts to here? I don't, as much as people don't want to see this shirt, I don't want to see those shorts. All right. And this is just a reminder, make sure your guests are aware before coming to the dining room. Landscape improvements, we've talked a lot about this. We've done some sodding and some landscaping improvements, a little bit in some areas. This is gonna be our next focus, the building 6 main entrance area. So on both sides of that main entrance, we're gonna be addressing the landscaping there. We're actually gonna remove some, redo, we're gonna look at new sod and some new plant material also. And then there's some other areas around the campus that we'll be looking at improving throughout the year. We'll keep you posted. Okay, so we'll communicate to you when we're going to address specific areas. I do know what these are now, Mr. Cooper. I'm being told that they're repaired. So if there is still a leak, please let me know directly. They are for the sprinkler system in the buildings. So there's a series of red pipes that are located between buildings 4 and 5, and they control the water sprinkler system for the buildings. There was a leak, or at least one leak, maybe multiple leaks, that I'm being told was repaired. So if you're still seeing something, please let me know. And then irrigation is being reviewed on a constant basis. I'm gonna share just a little bit of information with everybody today, because I always get the comment, oh, I never see the sprinklers work. I never see the water. So, oh, did I write it down? Maybe I wrote it on another piece of paper. Damn, I thought I had it here.
Just make something up.
I could. Christy knows me very well. No, so I did not write it down. I wrote it on another piece of paper. But what I wanted to share with you was, we located, and I'm going by memory here, so don't shoot me if I'm not 100% accurate. Buildings 4 and 5, and this is just an example. Every location around the community is the same. Their sprinklers go off 3 times during the week, okay? So they do not run every day. So 3 times during the week. I'm gonna pick 3 days. Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I could be off, but probably close. They go off at 3:30 a.m. They go on, sorry, at 3:30 a.m. And they go off at 6:30 a.m. And they cycle through, okay? So with almost 30 acres of land, it's impossible to irrigate every little section all at once. There's cycles, there's zones, and there's pockets that happen at one time and pockets that happen on another time. I know I've heard a lot from some of the villa residents that, oh, sprinklers aren't working. I have the cycles actually for the villas. I can share those with you. I think it's Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, and I think those start at midnight and they go off at like 3 or 3:30 in the morning. They go on at midnight and go off at 3:30 in the morning. So that's happening. Our irrigation company, our landscape company does wet checks every month on the irrigation zones. So please let me know if you see dry areas. We will identify those dry areas where they are, and we'll let the irrigation company know that they need to check those spots. Is there a head broken? Is there a pipe that's not working properly? Something might be up. Okay. All right, capital projects. I did share with the resident council when we met 1 week ago that most of the projects, actually all of the projects for 2024 are not flashy and sexy. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is when we renovate like hallways in residential buildings, right? Or we renovate the amenities in the clubhouse, those are flashy and sexy because everybody sees them, right? I get it. A lot of these, you're not even gonna see, but I thought it would be good to go through them so that you understand kind of some of the things that we need to address. Replacement of 2 fresh air units. Now that sounds flashy and sexy, doesn't it? Those are units that sit on a roof. So nobody's really gonna see those, but they create fresh air circulation and are crucial to the buildings, okay? 2 of those are gonna be replaced. Water softener replacement in the assisted living building. So if you don't live in the assisted living building, it's not impacting you, but it needs to be done. Pressure valves, woo! That sounds exciting. Water pressure valves need to be replaced. So our community was built 24 years ago. We're going through systematically and replacing the pressure valves. When you hear of a water shutdown in one of the residential buildings, it's probably because we're doing this and we need to shut down the water. Fire alarm panel in the assisted living. Seems pretty simple. This is actually a pretty costly one and is crucial, obviously, to the safety and the safety of the residents in that building. Replacement of radios and communication in the assisted living, also very crucial to our staff so that they can properly communicate. We upgraded all of our radios in the independent living last year. So our team that carry radios like this one, these have all been upgraded. I can tell you, in my first 2+ years here, it was a disaster trying to get the radios to work. It was really a challenge, and Christy can probably attest to that. Now we finally have radios that function properly. I think I actually brought one home one day, and I could hear the community at my house. I literally live across the street from here, and that's how far the radio was working. So I was at home and the radio was going on. I turned it off. HVAC, replacement of AC units. So we consistently do this. Each one of your apartments has its own dedicated unit. So what happens, right? We repair them, sometimes we can do that. At a certain point, unit's been there for 15 years or 12 years or whatever it is, 16 years in some cases, we replace them. So this is an ongoing process that does add up when you start replacing each and every one of those units. There's some small equipment upgrades that we're doing in the kitchen. Lee has come to us pleading to say, hey, I need some stuff, I need to improve, so we started to replace some of those pieces of equipment for Lee and his team. The big planetary mixer that we use on a daily basis, which nobody really sees, but is crucial to his operation. So those are some of the things that we're doing in the kitchen. I'm looking at Christy for computer equipment.
It should say Christie's.
Good, Christy's computer equipment.
Right there.
So we do have some funds allocated for computer equipment. We've actually just recently did a little bit of digging into some of the challenges we've been having from a connection standpoint, not for the residents. This is unrelated to hotwire communications. This is strictly for the business side. But we do have some upgrades and equipment that are slated for this year. And then obviously the renovation of apartments. So when residents are, unfortunately in some cases, are no longer with us, they've lived in an apartment for an extended period of time, they move on, we need to update and upgrade what goes on in that apartment. I will say that we also have received from some residents that have lived here for 10 years or longer, some requests to do some work, and we have done some work in their apartments. So if you do have any requests like that and you've been here for a significant amount of time, please reach out to me directly, and we can help coordinate that. Approximately, we're going to spend about $1.5 million this year in these capital expenditure projects. That'll be the bottom line. I think going through the first quarter, if I expand that to the end of the year, I think we're at just over 1.45 million. I'm pretty sure for the whole year, I'm pretty sure we're going to get to 1.5 million. So those are the capital projects that we have slated for 2024. Future projects for 2024, we've talked about this one already. Elevator modernization. Everybody remember that? No, it's a hot topic. I don't have a date yet. TBD. I promise I will share with you when I know exactly which buildings are going to be tackled when. My goal is to get it about a month's notice. So I should be able to provide 4 weeks notice to when we're going to launch into one of the elevator modernization projects. Okay?
Can I interject real quick on that?
Yep.
And I have been repeating myself since the first rumor started. Please, 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 if you hear something, do not panic. Come to us and ask. Because if we tell you what's going on, then that's most likely what's gonna happen. If you hear it from 7 of your closest girlfriends, it's probably not gonna happen. So please, unless you hear it from us, do not panic and think we're gonna stick you in your, 3rd floor apartment for 6 months, okay?
There's discussion about potential roof replacement for 2024. I'm waiting for final confirmation from our group, but it looks like our roofs are, and there were some questions about, are you gonna clean the roofs, right? They're tile roofs. We're looking at doing a replacement project instead of cleaning. So that's on the docket for 2024. Internally, we're looking at doing some painting and refurbishment of signage. We're not gonna replace signage on the campus, but we're looking at refurbishing. Some of them need to be kind of fixed, some of them need to be painted, some of them need a facelift. We changed some of the stop signs that are on the north road coming in. We're gonna be looking at a larger project down this year to complete painting and refurbishment. And then we talked a little bit about some landscape material replacement. Okay, so these are a few projects still to come for 2024, not related to what I was calling the capital projects for 2024 before, okay? Future potential projects. So one of the comments I've gotten from the resident council is, hey, what are you doing? What are you thinking about doing? What could happen? So I'm gonna preface this by saying, this could happen. I don't know when, so please, if it doesn't happen in the next 6 months, don't run to me and say, okay, well, when's it gonna happen? These are future potential projects that we're looking at that we would like to get approval for from our ownership group to improve the community. Asphalt replacement and seal coating. Roadways inside, parking spots, there's areas that need to be addressed. So this one that is on our radar to complete. Once again, I don't have 2024 beside there, so not gonna happen in 2024, but down the road, these are things we'd like to do. Striping, striping of parking spots and concrete stoppers and curb stops. So a lot of those curb stops and stoppers are pretty old. They need to be replaced. The replacement of directional and street signage. So in the previous slide, I talked about painting and refurbishing. That's just a temporary thing. We would like to eventually replace that signage, street signage and directional signage. Exterior lighting replacement. So we have lamp posts that are probably getting to the end of their useful lives. We also have bollard lighting that's on the inside part of the campus, and some of the lighting that's under the canopies as you walk along the walkways. Okay, so those are some of the areas that would be related to an exterior lighting replacement. Entrances to the residential buildings. Gate security upgrade. So we've started to research and look at what would a transponder type system look like, right? So if you've lived in a community, let's say in Naples or in Southwest Florida, a lot of places you kind of drive in, you don't really have a guard gate. You might have some sort of punch pad or some sort of transponder that releases the gate and allows you to enter and then exit. We're looking at systems like that. Okay. Activities. So Jennifer's not here, but like I said, Bailey's holding down the fort. Jennifer's taking a little bit of PTO time with her family, which is nice. Kentucky Derby is happening. So Mr. Bill Gagnon, Bill, who does a lot of the wagering, has agreed to do wagering again for us for the Kentucky Derby. So if you call your county sheriff department and tell them that we're wagering on the Kentucky Derby, I'm gonna deny. Not happening. But it starts at 4 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. The race is supposed to start between 6:30 and 7, so get your money ready. May 7th at 2 p.m. we have a group, actually talked about this in the updates this morning. The shelter, local shelter for abused women and children, is going to be having a discussion on that topic on May 7th at 2 p.m. However, starting next Monday, May 6th, we're going to be accepting donations for the shelter. So anything that's donated, and Jennifer and Bailey will have specific areas where you can put the donated items, but those will go to the shelter. Arthrex, our neighbor down the road, Immokalee, will be doing a presentation on May 10th at 2 p.m. Mother's Day brunch. Don't forget Mother's Day. Hello? Don't forget Mother's Day. I better not forget Mother's Day. Sunday, May 12th at 10:30, Lee and his team will be creating an awesome brunch.
It's 5:13. Mother's Day is the 12th, but the actual event's Monday.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Whew. They caught me.
I did.
My bad. So it's on the Monday. Sorry. Okay. So May 13th. Well, there you go. So no?
Mother's Day is the Sunday. 13th is the actual event that we're doing.
Are you talking about the brunch?
So brunch will be on Sunday, but Celebrations is holding a separate special event just for Mother's Day.
Understood. I was talking about the brunch. I wasn't talking about the special celebration. I'm sorry, Bailey.
Yes.
I want to highlight the fact that Lee and his team do special menus for special events. This is one of those special events. So it is on the Sunday,
Yes.
and it does start at 10:30 or 11?
Sure.
Sure. Okay. They'll be ready for you. All right. 13th is a Monday. You gotta, so Bailey's gonna fact check me, okay? I like this. She's gonna fact check me. So May 13th, do we have fall prevention?
Yes, we do.
Awesome. And Mr. Callis is gonna be part of that? Awesome. Mr. Callis, one of our residents, will be part of the discussion about fall prevention. May 16th, special twisted trivia. Is that okay? Fact check me, Bailey. You gotta correct me if I'm
I'm
wrong.
gonna put this away.
Okay. No, it's good. I like it. At 3 p.m. Karaoke with JR in the Tavern on the 18th at 4:30. And then FGCU. How many residents attend the FGCU Academy presentations? Awesome. Good. We're getting really good feedback from the speakers and the information that's being provided. iPhoneography. Ooh, I have no idea what that is. All I know is called iPhoneography at 2 p.m. on the 20th. And then to close out the month, arthritis awareness presentation on the 24th at 1 p.m. Memorial Day. Wow, can't believe we're going to be at Memorial Day on the 27th. So there'll be a special indoor cookout, outdoor cookout, indoor, we'll figure it out. All right, we'll gauge the weather. At 11 a.m. The ceremony is on the 28th, correct? At 10 a.m. for Memorial Day. And then we close out the month with Trader Joe's trip at 10 a.m. on the 29th. And then a trip to the Baker Museum for those of you that would like to go to the Baker Museum at 10. So lots of different activities in May upcoming. I think we did get our newsletter, right? So we've got that available for residents to see. Okay. Got a few more slides and then we'll take some questions. So just a review of this, transportation. So please make sure to provide accurate information when you're asking for a reservation with transportation. Please confirm the date and the time with your provider just to make 100% sure that we're accurate. We're gonna be adding soon, I don't have a date, we're gonna publish something on Friday about this, but we're gonna be adding some paid personal transportation trips. So part of our transportation team is gonna be able to use one of our vehicles to do some personal paid transportation trips, okay? It's probably gonna work on an hourly rate, just so you know, but we're gonna publish that information at the end of this week, and we'll give you the date as to when we're gonna start that. Okay, I've gotten a lot of requests from residents to say, hey, outside of the regular transportation and the medical transportation, which is not changing, medical is not changing, this is gonna be an additional service that we're gonna provide. However, there will be a charge to the resident who uses it. So more details to follow later this week, okay? And the last few areas, once again, medical transportation, I thought just as a reminder, please do that in advance. The earliest time is 8 a.m. for departure, right, Christy?
Yes, the first car leaves at 8, so your appointment needs to be after that.
Exactly, and the last time to come back is approximately 1:30 p.m. in the afternoon. Can we stretch it till 2, so we're back by 3, kind of, right?
Right, we like to do the absolute last pickup at 2:30, so we can have everybody
Okay.
back on property by 3.
All right.
So appointment time 1:30, that gives you time to manage your appointment.
Awesome.
Hopefully.
Please provide the accurate address and the type of medical appointment that you're going to. We don't need any other details. None of the other medical details.
And one good thing to keep in mind when you go to your appointment, a lot of times they'll say, do you need a card? Always say yes. You can bring the card back to us. It has the doctor's information, the appointment time. That way you don't have to even worry about remembering. Just get that card.
When they make the appointment. That's a great idea. Make the reservation as long in advance as you'd like. They must be on a weekday, Monday through Friday. Please do the pickup in the same place as the drop off. We've had that happen a lot, drop you off, and then the pickup, they're not in the same location. If you do fail to cancel that appointment and we call you, you don't show up, there is a fee, $25. All right. We've shared this with the residents for a while. The second person fee is going up to $1,000 a month, okay? Second person fee, $1,000. That is, by the way, in independent living. I know there was some confusion with the assisted living, which is actually going up to $1,200 a month, but the independent living is going to $1,000. There will be an increase in guest meals. Dinner will be going to $20 instead of 19. Lunch will be 15 instead of 13. Breakfast and the tavern charges remain unchanged. They'll remain the same. And then the special holiday menus that Lee creates, there's probably about 5 of those throughout the year. Is there more than that? Sorry, 7 of them. Those, if you bring a guest, will have a $24 charge to them. These changes will be effective June 1st. So we have another month, not tomorrow, 1 month from tomorrow. All right. And I think that's it. So we're going to start taking questions. Christy, do you want to run the mic or do you want somebody else to run it?
I'm not running.
I thought, you're not, I thought you were going to delegate it to Brian. See what happens, Brian?
You get to learn all the residents of pieces to say.
Hello, testing.
We love to tease each other.
Yeah, Mark, you're
I
great
won't,
at
I won't know the answers, but I'll kindly direct them to my colleagues.
So when someone puts up their hand, you have to bring the microphone. So Mr. Parker was first right here.
Thank you, Ms. Parker.
Hello, welcome.
Thank you.
Mark, you said a couple of weeks ago we had presentations from 2 groups of medical doctors. I've not heard anything since. Could you tell us where we are with that?
So great question. Mr. Parker probably knows me by now. When I don't say anything, it's probably because I don't have much information. Is that a fair comment? So one of the groups that we met with, we were not able really to come to an arrangement with. So one of the groups will not, let me rephrase this. There will not really be a partnership with Aston Gardens. It does not mean that residents cannot choose the provider that they want. So a resident could maybe choose that provider and use their services. The second one, we're waiting for the agreement, for the lawyers to agree on the agreement.
You're waiting for the lawyers to agree?
Your eyes are rolling. So we're close. We're this close to doing it. I've actually pushed the lawyers again earlier this week to say, hey, we need to get this finalized. So I'm hoping that we're going to have something to announce to you shortly.
Did you physically
You're
push
welcome.
them?
Pardon me?
Did you physically push them?
No, I didn't physically push them. Next question.
Moving on.
Just a minor point, did you say Memorial Day is the 28th, which is a Tuesday?
No, Memorial Day, I believe, is the 27th.
It is, that's right, but you did say something.
And then on the 28th, very good, Mr. Robinson, the 28th is we're gonna do a ceremony on the 28th. But Memorial Day is May 27th. Thank you. Gonna go all the way to the back. And you're wearing running shoes.
I have a question about leaf blowing.
Okay.
It seems that some areas get well blown and others just get ignored again and again.
Okay, what would be helpful is if you know of specific areas, could you let me know what they are? And the best way would be, you could send me an email directly and just say, hey, here, I don't need photos, that I more description. North, east, west, south, building. That would be awesome. And then that way we can take that information, go to our landscaper and follow up with them. Thank you. Right here in the front, and then Mr. LaBelle's gonna go after.
Thank you, by the way, for putting the bushes up in the pool area.
Oh,
That was-
you just reminded me of something. Sorry, and we'll take your question in a second, Mrs. Hogan. We are gonna identify, there's some areas where we need plant material. We actually looked at those earlier this week. There's one area in the pool deck area under one of the trees that we're not gonna put plant material because we have not been successful in getting it to grow. So we're gonna add some ground cover to that area, But there's at least 2 or 3 other areas where we're gonna add some plant material, so more to come on that.
Great,
But
thank you.
you're welcome.
But one other question.
Yep.
You said that, there would be help to get the, what do you call it?
The umbrella,
Thank you.
Yep.
Because they're difficult
they are
sometimes
difficult.
to open up. Now, who is going to close them?
They will.
That becomes a problem.
Yep.
Because when I'm in the pool, so often,
They don't get-
doors are open and they're flying all over the place, and I'm worried that they're going to break. And these are expensive umbrellas.
Well, and some of them have already broken, so to your point, we've had that issue. So we believe that if we go through, if the request goes to the desk is gonna have team members that they can reach out to do it, then they're gonna need to close them after. And the concept is conceptually, that if they know that it's open, they have to plan to close it, right? So that's basically the concept, so.
Because I have gone several times
Yeah.
to the front and made sure that they get somebody.
Thank
to
you,
come.
we appreciate that, but that's what we're gonna work towards, that they close it, so Mr. Lavelle's next.
Lee, I'm not picking on you. I just want you to know it deals with your kitchen, but I'm really putting this on Mark, because Mark and I have talked about this before. Where does the master menu come from?
Where does the master menu, what do you mean by the master menu?
Well, we can know pretty much during the week what the specials are gonna be.
Okay.
Where does that come from?
So he has to answer that question. He's the executive chef. I know you don't wanna put it on him, but he has to answer that question.
So I'm the one that designs those, all the menus with my culinary team, and then we send those, previously we were sending them to the corporate office to be signed off by our, national culinary director. We're in the middle of a transition right now, we've got somebody new that's coming into that position. So things kind of went stagnant there for a few weeks. Now we're back on track. We had a really good visit, not last week, but the week before, from one of the culinary specialists. And so we're moving forward with the next set of menus, but that's all done in-house. Luckily enough, out of the over 300 communities that are in the Discovery portfolio, we are one community out of 11 out of all those communities that has basically full autonomy of the menu systems. So it's a very fortunate thing that we have control of, but we do at the end of the day have to get those signed off by a dietitian, because we use the same menus across the board into assisted living and into memory care. So we have to make sure that we're nutritionally valued out across the board on everything, and hopefully that answers the question.
So what I can add, Mr. Lavelle, and you can give him the microphone back, that's fine, but just to add to that, is that the larger type communities like ours, Lee alluded to about 11 different communities, have much more autonomy because a large part of the campus is independent living and not assisted living. Assisted living has tighter and stricter rules and regulations relative to dietitian. So there is a good amount of autonomy. Yeah. Go ahead.
If we have requests, like once a month have a special, and I'll tell you what I hear at the lunchtime, is that, why don't we just have a hot dog and beans and french fries special as one of the things once a month? You have the best hot dogs in the world, by the way.
So, very much in kind of a country club fashion, there are several off-menu items that you can order that we have in-house. Hot dogs are always available. When we do our events like Memorial Day that's coming up, that's where you'll see the cookout versions. You'll get your beans, you get your potato salad, your macaroni salad, things like that. 4th of July, so those will be some of the Labor Day, those are some of the dates that you'll see where we'll have just a good old-fashioned cookout, and everybody can come down and partake. But for those who don't know, we do have hot dogs on off the menu, so if you just ask for them, we can definitely get them. And just real quick, I do want to give an update to Mr. Bill. Great to see you here today. We will be rolling out the new tavern menu on Monday is what we're shooting for. So we're shooting for that. We're kind of doing things a little bit backwards. We planned on doing the daily specials, the three dailies, but because we kind of went stagnant on communication through the transition that they're going through with the home office, we decided to go ahead and move forward with the new tavern menu, and we've already built the new employee menu as well. So we're working through everything, and hopefully we'll be good to go here in the next couple weeks.
So it's gotta go back to Brian. Brian has to run it over here. Mrs. Gellahorn has a question.
I have a question on behalf of people who are going into serious withdrawal, and that is, when are we going to have cappuccino crunch?
Asking the right questions.
Me? I just have one quick question. So is there a diagnosis for the
David, it's very serious.
He's laughing.
It's all true.
It's all true. All right, Lee, what's going on?
All right, so just to give you kind of insight, on Tuesdays I place the order for the delivery to be delivered on Thursdays. So occasionally might go a couple days, depending on how popular it seems to be for the day or for the week. But we order on Tuesdays. We order currently 10 of the 3-gallon tubs, which is 35 pounds basically per. So we're talking about 350 pounds of cappuccino crunch that comes in every week. But it is a very, very popular ice cream, and we do try to keep it in stock as much as possible, but sometimes we do run into an area where we do run out before the next delivery. But
I think it's
we
probably,
definitely have that one.
I think it's heavier than the vanilla, that's why it's 350 pounds.
Yeah, the vanilla we order 5 to 6 of those a week. Same thing with all our other regular flavors, but the specialty we do.
Do we need to up the vanilla order? Jack says we need to up the vanilla order.
We can definitely do that.
There we go.
Do that.
We're gonna take another question, one more question, Nita? 2 more questions, Nita and then Helen.
First of all, I'm glad to know we got to things that are really serious, like cappuccino crunch. I keep me awake at night. I have a couple of things I want to speak about. First of all is, in working with new signage, how many people feel like that perhaps we should have the speed lowered? Now, the reason I say that, because we know how difficult it is to get good tram drivers. But some of them speed like they're going on a real race. And I know they can be corrected and spoken to about it, but I just wonder, even for visitors, I usually go about 10, 12 miles an hour. I don't know, do we need them?
When we replace signage, the goal is to go to 15, no more than 15 miles an hour. No, does it say 20? 20, it says 20? It should be 15. For a community like this, it should really be no more than 15.
Well, just a little bit lower, that sort of thing. I do that to present do a good example. I may just almost start walking. No, but another thing is the umbrellas is a very good thing to bring up, but could I ask that prior to the beginning of the events when we have them, could it be possible that those umbrellas or anything we use for coverage could be up and running? Because when the people try to put them up during the barbecue or whatever, we can't put them up, and then it would fall over. And so if they were in place, we would really appreciate it.
So if we have a special event outdoors, we would do that? The request to put it in at the front desk is on a day-to-day basis.
Well, I mean for events.
But for an event, absolutely. Open it up
rather
before.
than having us trying to open them.
Correct.
Now, the one thing, I think it was May the 21st that you mentioned that we're going to have a speaker here about the phone. Actually, our wonderful Jennifer's not here to tell you about it, but that is someone that we've been trying to get back here. He spoke to us about probably, I don't know when it was, maybe 7 or 8 months ago from the university, but he is a pro. And please, if you hear that's coming, don't miss it.
What's the date again, Bailey?
The 20th.
The 20th? May 20th.
You don't want to, please tell people that even think they know how to use their phone, to bring it with them and come.
Awesome.
And he's fantastic.
Love it.
One-
How many questions?
One other thing I'd like you to mention, please, is about the pickup after hours from the hospital.
Yep.
A lot of people still don't understand that. Could we give that a moment?
Yep, so we do, the gentleman that runs the service on Sundays, Pastor Dan, and his group will provide to residents pickup from, the hospital. So sometimes it happens that unfortunately.
That's after hours.
After hours, right, an after-hour pickup. So, resident is at the hospital, is gonna be discharged from the hospital, or is not admitted to the hospital on a Friday night, a Saturday, a Sunday, when we don't have our regular transportation going on. They will provide that service.
Who do you call?
They will, so you can call the security phone, so that security phone, and I'm making a note here, cause Christy will put it in the update again on Friday, so all the information will be there, but you call the security phone, and they will have that contact information for you to reach out to them. They have graciously offered Pastor Dan and his team to go pick up the resident and bring them back to their home. Okay, so
And
they,
that-
and they've done that,
And that's any night of the week.
any night of the week.
Anytime that we don't have the service here with
Yep.
all right. Thank you very much for everybody for
Awesome.
your patience.
We're going to Helen next, I think,
And thank you, Brian.
and then maybe Mrs. McGarrow has a question. No? No?
Just a comment.
Okay, well then a comment.
First of all, Brian. Two comments. One, I wanted to, in an audience, thank Lee for all the help and the communication for the Passover dinner.
Oh, nice.
Great job, great communication back and forth. That's great. Thank you. And the other thing is to remind new residents to please wear badges. Now, some of them don't have the badges, but they're new, they don't know many people around, and us residents that have been here for a while, we can't communicate with them. They could be in a different building that we reside in, and I don't know, hello, how are you, what's your name?
Yep.
It would be great if they could get the badges. They should probably get them as soon as they,
So we're gonna
sign
do,
up.
all new residents sit through an orientation with Christy, and moving forward, Christy is actually gonna hand deliver the new name tags to the residents.
Thank
I
you.
think Mrs. McGarrow had a comment, I'm sure it's a question, but, nope, yep, sorry, right here. But yes, thank you, Helen.
Regarding speeding, when I sit out on my porch, I see the waste management trucks fly down the road. I mean, there's no way that they're gonna be able to stop. And those really are the most egregious speeders here in the community, according to what I see.
Okay, thank you. All right, any more questions? Okay, whoop, right here. All right, two more, but that's it. But he's getting antsy.
Okay, what about the, parking, stickers for your car? I still haven't got mine.
Okay. Thank you.
Lauren and I have been coming to these meetings for a long time, and this is the first meeting that I've heard every word perfectly. So the sound system has been really improved.
Maybe I'm just learning to pronounce and enunciate better.
That could be so we learned very early how to listen to Canadian.
Say that again? Was that a shot? Did Buzz just take a shot? Okay. Okay. A. It could be the shirt. Well, one of my favorite Canadian teams plays tonight. Who's a Boston Bruins fan here? Ah, I knew it. I knew.
Nita, don't suck up.
No, I'm not a Boston Bruins fan. I grew up a Montreal Canadiens fan, so you would know that that's not a good mix. But the Bruins are playing in Game 5 tonight against the Maple Leafs. Maple Leafs. That's why I'm wearing this shirt today.
Wait, you have a
I-
team called Maple Leafs?
Maple Leafs, not leaves,
Bless your soul.
Leafs. Go Leafs. Last night, the Panthers beat the Lightning. That was a good game. Who's a Panther fan?
First
No,
time in
okay,
four-
forget it. We're talking
First
hockey.
time in 4 years.
I know. You had to bring that up, didn't you? All right, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Appreciate the questions. Thank you.
All right, I'll work